All right. Torah study with Rashi. All right, so we are in Bereshit, Parsha Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah, which starts with the death of Sarah. I mean, that's the way it is. So we're going to do as we normally do. We're going to read. I would say today we'll read chapter 23 and see where we go from there. Let's see, what else am I thinking? Good Shabbos, Rebbitzin. So, all right, let's get started. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzavanu la'asok divrei Torah. Okay. Bereshit 23. And as normal, just so everybody else knows out there that's watching for the first time, I usually read the English in like the complete Jewish Bible version, and then I am going to grab Rashi, which has its own version, which is not the complete Jewish Bible version. It's a different version. This is from the Art Scroll version of Rashi. Just so everybody's aware of what's happening, what I'm reading, why one English version may sound different from another English version by a few words, knowing that English doesn't properly or Hebrew doesn't properly translate into English word for word. So it's difficult in some areas to get what's happening. Anyway, starting verse 1 of chapter 23. Sarah lived to be 127 years old. These were the years of Sarah's life. Sarah died in Kiryat Arba, also known as Hebron, in the land of Canaan, and Abraham came to mourn Sarah and weep for her. Then he got up from his dead one and said to the sons of Het, I am a foreigner living as an alien with you. Let me have a burial site with you so that I can bury my dead wife. The sons of Het answered Abraham, listen to us, Lord, my Lord. You are a prince of God among us. So choose any of our tombs to bury your dead. Not one of us would refuse you his tomb for burying your dead. Abraham got up, bowed before the people of the land, the sons of Het, and spoke with them. If it is your desire to help me bury my dead, then listen to me. Ask Ephron, the son of Zohar, to give me the cave of Machpelah, which he owns, the one at the end of his field. He should sell it to me in your presence at its full value. Then I will have a burial site of my own. Ephron, Hittite, was sitting among the sons of Het, and he gave Abraham his answer in the presence of the sons of Het, who belonged to the ruling council of the city. No, my lord, listen to me. I am giving you the field with its cave. I'm giving it to you. In the presence of my people, I give it to you. Abraham bowed before the people of the land and spoke to Ephron in their hearing. Please be good enough to listen to me. I will pay the price of the field. Accept it from me, and I will bury my dead there. But Ephron answered Abraham, my lord, listen to me. A plot of land worth 400 silver shekels. What is that between me and you? Just bury your dead. Abraham got the point of what Ephron had said, so he weighed out for Ephron the amount of money he had specified in the presence of the sons of Het, 400 silver shekels of weight accepted among merchants, 10 pounds. Thus the field of Ephron and Machpelah, which is by Mamre, the field, its cave, and all the trees in and around it, were deeded to Abraham as his possession in the presence of the sons of Het, who belonged to the ruling council of the city. Then Abraham buried Sarah and his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah by Mamre, also known as Hebron, in the land of Canaan. The field and its cave had been purchased by Abraham from the sons of Het as a burial site, which would belong to him. Okay, so from, first blush, when you're looking at this, especially if you don't know much of what's happening, it may seem like a pretty simple transaction, right? We're looking at Abraham wanted to buy something, and it seemed like there's what you would say, a negotiation of sorts. Yeah, and so in this negotiation, which is, if you look at it and you don't know much, it seemed kind of weird. You're like, all right, I want you to go and, I'm with the council, which we know if any, back in the day, I mean, way back in the day, the council, councils or courts or judgments were held in the gates of the city. So everybody would, gather, not everybody usually, but, people, the judges or whatnot would gather there, and they would do their cases or rule their cases there. So this is the case here, a lot of cases. But, so Abraham wanted to buy this plot of land with this cave in it. And he went to the council of the sons of Het and wanted to buy this land. And he said, well, I want to buy this land from Ephron. Ephron came in, seemed like, hey, look, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. Or, no, let me buy this and let me... Anyway.
It's like a reverse haggle. They're haggling on not.
Right.
He's basically saying you can have it.
He's saying you can have it, but why? Why would he say that? And Abraham say, no, I don't want you to give it to me. I want to buy it.
Somebody gives it to you, you're ingratiated to them.
It seems like you're under. There seems like if you give something of that value, right? In which many would say that the value that Ephron said seemed to be overpriced. Some have said.
We don't know that, but yeah, very overpriced.
Apparently to some, you would say that it was overpriced. But Abraham, who had money, was like, I'll buy it because I really want it. Anyway, he wanted to have the distinction of actually buying it, so it's actually deeded.
Yeah.
Instead of a gift where there may be some strings attached.
I have also
Or it wouldn't
heard.
really be his. It's like you can borrow. You can
It's-
just put it in one of
It's
our
kind of like a
banks.
borrowing, yeah.
I've heard sort of arguments, and I feel like they're more based on modern understanding of Jewish life, where the idea is that by Abraham purchasing the property, people later can't go up and say that he stole the property if there's a deed to it.
Sure.
And this, I think sort of revolves around a lot of the anti-Semitic stereotypes of Jews today. I think that they look back at that, interpret it through that lens. So I don't actually think that that's really the proper interpretation, but that is one that I've heard as well. Is
Right.
that by purchasing the property, that you can't dispute it later on that it was a gift.
Right, yeah. And that, I mean, I think that would be, that could be one way to look at it, even if some may agree with that or not. And what we're talking about is that if it's gifted, then it could potentially, somebody could change it
Yeah.
later on. But if you have an actual,
Or even claim that, they stole it, or there was a,
So,
undo.
his sons, or when he died, Ephron died, there might be a dispute.
A dispute,
With
yep.
his,
right. So if
that would happen.
later generations could say, this was my father's land, and you took it from us, and if there's no deed from an actual transaction,
Right.
then it could be disputed, and there could be a problem later on. So that's what some would say. It's not, that's one way to look at it, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because, if you have deeds to it, that's always means something. In the courts at that time, where all the elders of the land would agree to this and sign off if they agreed to it. Okay. All right. So now we go to Rashi. And what does Rashi say? Now, I know we're not going to get far, just as a sidebar, I know we're not going to get far on this particular parsha, but there's a lot in this, including Rivka, Yitzhak, Eliezer, and so on and so forth. So I know that, we're not going to get there because there's a lot here. Yeah, not this year. Okay. All right, so here we go from the art scroll from Rashi. Sarah's lifetime was 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. Now, did you notice a difference between the complete Jewish Bible version and this version? Right, you have the actual separation. Now, if you look at the Hebrew, that's the way they have it. They separate it. They separate it out, and they're like, well, why do you separate it? Well, that's good question.
So it's basically 100 plus 20 plus 7.
Yes, 100 plus 20 plus 7. Okay. The years of Sarah's life. Sarah died in Kiriath Arba, which is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to eulogize Sarah and to bewail her. Abraham rose up from the presence of his dead and spoke to the children of Heth, saying, I am an alien and a resident among you. Grant me a holding for a grave with you, that I may bury my dead from before me. Okay. Verse 1. And this is Rashi. Rashi saying, Sarah's lifetime was 100 years, 20 years, and 7 years. Okay. This is why the word shana, years, was written at each category. Example, or i.e., after the hundreds, the tens, and the units. To say to you that each one is expounded on its own. In other words, each unit or number, like the hundreds, tens, are expounded on its own, to teach you that when she was 100 years old, she was like 20 years old with regard to sin. Just as one who is 20 years old is considered if she has not sinned, for she is not liable to punishment. So too, when Sarah was 100 years old, she was without sin, and when she was 20 years old, she was like 7 years old with regard to beauty. All right, so you have different interpretations on this, right? You have some say when she was 100 years old, she looked like she was 20. And when she was 20 years old, she looked like she was 7. In the way of beauty. In other words, it's not like...
She looked like a literal 7-year-old.
Well, and not necessarily, I mean...
Well,
yeah,
it's
it's...
what you're talking about in terms of beauty.
Well, we don't want to... Now, we don't want to go down into the realm, I mean, into bad thinking here. You got to understand what they're saying in regards to beauty, right? It's... Youthfulness. Innocent, you know, we're not talking about anything bad here. Please don't think that. The idea is that what Rashi is saying is when she was 100, she looked like she was 20 in regards to sin. Now, that's what Rashi says. Now, so in the notes here, just so we can understand what we're talking about in regards to sin, the heavenly court does not hold one responsible for sin until the age of 20. And this is Mizrahi, and see also Rashi to Shabbat 89b in the Talmud. Okay, in this commentary, Rashi states that before the giving of the Torah, the heavenly court did not hold one responsible for sin until the age of 100. Okay, here Rashi means that although Sarah lived before the giving of the Torah, even by stricter standards that would apply later, she was still pure from sin. Okay. Now, next one is from Bereshit Rabbah. This is the notes underneath to try to explain what Rashi is saying here. Bereshit Rabbah, which is Midrash. 58:1. Right, the complexion of a 7-year-old is more beautiful than that of a 20-year-old. Alternatively, Devarche are different. Think of this one differently. Women tend to become increasingly more beautiful from the age of 7 to the age of 20 when they attain the height of their beauty. Okay, Sarah's beauty continued to develop at the age of 20 at the rate of a 7-year-old. What they're trying to say is that she got more beautiful as she aged. In reference to, say, how a woman according to what they're saying here, and this is Midrash, right? So we have to remember that, that what they're saying here is that as a woman ages from 7 to 20, her beauty gains to what they say. They say, the peak of beauty is at 20, and apparently the women fall off. Right? Whatever. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm just saying that's what they say. What they're saying here is that from the increase from 7 to 20, that same increase happened to Sarah from 20 to 100. Anyway. Moving on. Okay, the years of Sarah's life, they were all equal for goodness. All right? Verse 2, in Kiryat Arba, it's called literally City of Four. City of Four. Okay. It is named after, here you go, this is a good one here, named after 4 giants who were there. Ahiman, Sheshai, Talmai, and their father. And that is from Bereshit Rabbah 58:4, if you wanted to go look into that more. Also see Numbers 13:22. Okay. Alternatively, Devar Cher, so take the giants thing, set it aside. We're not talking about that anymore. It is named, the city is named after 4 couples who were buried there, man and wife. Who are the 4 couples? There's your trivia question of the day. Who are the 4 couples that were buried in Machpelah before this time and after this time?
Abraham and Sarah.
Adam and Eve, Abraham and Sarah. Okay, keep going.
Isaac's still alive at this point.
Jacob and Leah.
Oh, all right, so the couples are Adam and Hava, or Adam and Eve. We have Abraham and Sarah. We also have Yitzhak and Rivka, Isaac and Rebekah. And then we have Yaakov and Leah. Interesting. Why wasn't Rachel, why wasn't
That was my question.
Rachel buried?
Died during childbirth on the Leah's.
She died on the road, giving childbirth to who?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. And so she was buried near where? Ooh, I got you, Nudie. Bethlehem, yes. Yes, the tomb of Rachel is in Bethlehem.
It's just down the road, if you go over there. Just down the road.
It is down the road. It is down the road. We never went in it, but we drove by it when we were in Israel. So it's there. It's actually, it's outside the wall, right? The Rachel's tomb, it's outside the wall of Bethlehem. If you've been to Israel, you understand what I'm talking about. The wall, right there.
Yeah, Bethlehem's in Palestine side, right?
Well, yeah, it's in the West Bank side, in which shouldn't be, but it is. We're not going to go into that. But yes, it is. But you can still access it because it's on the opposite of the wall. So they have this
Yeah.
20-foot concrete wall, maybe bigger.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is a city wall.
City wall separating.
It separates Jerusalem.
It separates Bethlehem from.
Yeah.
So there's not like when you're talking about cities, right? Bethlehem. Let's just say that right here.
Is this a current wall?
It's a current wall.
Okay.
I have a picture of it.
It's a current wall. It's a wall that separates Bethlehem, which is underneath the, which is the West Bank or the.
The Palestinian territory.
Yeah, that's what they call the Palestine, the PA. But, Israel still runs the defense of that area. It's kind of weird. But to separate that area of people from like Jerusalem, which is close,
Yeah.
they have a wall. So those people can't just easily walk out, and they have a security fence and so on and so forth. And this wall is huge.
When I went for my yard site, or Aliyah or whatever, yeah, is it Aliyah? Aliyah, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Aliyah, for my Aliyah, at our hotel, we could see the wall in the distance. It's like it's like a Berlin Wall type of thing. It's
Yes.
pretty much the exact. That's how I would look at it. It's very much like a Berlin Wall situation.
Yeah.
Graffiti on the inside.
There is,
playing
yeah.
on the outside.
I can see like graffiti,
It's
good, like
terrible.
marks of
Berlin was to
graffiti.
keep people in.
Well, this is to keep people in.
It's to keep people out.
Both.
Who? The wall of
Terrorists. It's to keep
Yeah.
the terrorists
It's
out.
yeah.
of Israel.
It was built for the
Right.
It's the
inside.
opposite.
well, it keeps terrorists out of Israel. It's also to keep the terrorists inside of Bethlehem.
Yeah.
Yeah, for both.
Yeah, well,
That's
I mean,
because
in theory,
Bethlehem
that
is
would, if you're
outside
keeping them out of Israel, by definition.
Bethlehem.
you're keeping-
Well, Bethlehem isn't outside of Israel, but
Who builds the wall?
we did, it was after
Israel.
the second Intifada,
Israel
I
built the
think.
wall.
To keep people out. To keep people out, yeah.
Fun stuff. All right. But yes, but Rachel's tomb is accessible because it's right on the wall. Okay. And there was actually a thing about that in the news a couple weeks ago for the yard site for Rachel. Okay.
So does this imply that Abraham and Sarah were not living together?
Ah. Let's, this touches on that subject. Let's move on to the next one. All right. So we are moving on, and still in verse 2. Abraham came from Beersheba, or Beersheba, or whatever you want to pronounce it, to eulogize Sarah and to bewail her. Okay? Sarah's death is juxtaposed with what? What just happened? The binding, yes. Yep, the Akedah. Or the Akedah,
And how do we know that it just happened?
which is because the proximity in Torah matters.
Well, okay, right, but could just matter have been 7 years ago? I mean, just happened?
Got that,
Been
Robinson.
7 years ago?
Say that again.
Could it have been 7 years ago? That's proximity.
Could it have been? There's no time given,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we're saying, is there what kind of time jump are we talking about? And the answer is we don't know. But we do know what we do know is that in the Torah, proximity matters. You know, even when you're talking about, Aharon's sons, Aharon's sons giving strange fire to the altar, right? And what is next after that in Torah?
Against,
The drinking for Kohanim while they're in service. Right, while they're in service. That makes it, there's a distinction here. Doesn't mean Kohanim can't drink wine. They certainly can, but when they're in service in the HaMikdash or the tabernacle,
I
no.
wonder if maybe Sarah didn't move out of Abraham's tent after the binding of Isaac.
Well, you're saying that possibly that Sarah moved out of the tent because of the binding of Isaac. Well, we don't know. I mean, exactly how that happened, but we know that according to the sages, they had separate tents.
Well, yeah, but one's in Beersheba and one is many miles away.
Right. Well, exactly. So did she leave Beersheba, or was she already in Mamre when they went to the Akedah? I don't know the answer to that question right off the top. I have to do study on that. But the question is out there for those that are watching is, did Sarah leave Abraham like as a punishment for the Akedah or Akedah? Right? I'm mad at you now because of what you did to Isaac. I'm leaving you and I'm going, we're separating and I'm going to Mamre while you stay here in Beersheba. Or that, as a lot of the sages would say, is that they left, that Abraham and Sarah were together when they left for the Akedah, and that Abraham came back to a different place where Sarah was. Options. We can go into that.
So she was 90 when she had Isaac,
She was 90 when she had
and she
Isaac.
lived to be 127 years old, so that would have made Isaac almost 40.
Yes, 37.
Okay.
Which, if you look at the Akedah, how old was Isaac when he was bound, or the binding of Isaac?
He was old enough to carry wood.
He was old enough to carry wood, and according to Torah, if you look at it, 33 or 37.
Yeah.
Well, if he were 33, then it wouldn't have just happened when Sarah died.
So
It'd be 4 years earlier, right?
I'm kind of lost on your math.
If Isaac's 33, then Sarah is 124 when there's the binding.
Right,
Okay, so
right. So you're talking,
she died 4 years later.
maybe.
Maybe, we don't know.
Yeah,
Hmm?
yeah,
There's another thing.
well, yeah.
His father died around the same time.
Abraham's father?
Terah.
Terah died, yes.
Terah died shortly before Sarah died.
Yes,
So
Terah
what
died
we
shortly
see,
before
he
Sarah.
went home to take care of things for his father, and that's when he found out that Sarah died. No separation.
Their separation, yeah. So, fun stuff as we're discussing, what happened was there a rift between Sarah and Abraham as a result of the binding of Isaac? And some would say yes, and some would say no. What's the answer? Yes. We have no idea. Right, we really don't know. But,
Well, he didn't die, and he was following what God told him.
right.
He didn't want to do it.
Right. It's just because it was their only son, and she heard about it. Oh, well, let me just read on with Rashi says.
Come on, let's face it.
Okay.
Emotionally, a mother would be upset.
So Sarah's death is juxtaposed with the binding of Isaac, because through hearing the news of the binding that her son was ready for slaughter and was nearly slaughtered, her soul flew from her and she died. This is according to Rashi, right? And you can have a reference to that to the Tanhuma,
Right?
which is a midrash, and then Pirkei de Rabbi Eliezer, 32. Okay, and then for the Tanhuma, it's at the end of Vayera, which is the Parsha Vayera, which was last week's Parsha. Okay, all right. Verse 4. Okay.
You skipped 3,
Did I skip 3?
I think so.
No, Rashi skipped 3.
Rashi skipped it, oh, okay.
Or no, because we've already talked,
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You're right.
I am an alien and resident among you. Right? That seems weird. I'm an alien and a resident. How can you be a resident of a place and be an alien?
Well, you live there.
The IRS says you can be a resident.
With them, but not of them.
I am a sojourner. What's it saying in Hebrew?
Yeah.
Let me look at the Hebrew here. Let's go here. Let's see here. Nar?
No, Ger Toshav.
Let me look.
Ger Toshav, oh, it's the very beginning of 4.
The beginning of 4.
Ger Toshav.
Interesting. Look, and I'm reading the English. I got Ger Vitoshav. Really? Oh, if you know anything, Ger Toshav. Okay, we're not going to go down that road, but because it would be it would be kind of different from Rashi. But Ger Toshav is the difference. Thank you very much for pointing that out, Slade. Oh, good Shabbos, sir. Okay. Shabbat Shalom. Yes. Okay. All right. An alien from another land, and I have settled among you. Okay. Another Agadic or midrash, which is a midrash. Sorry, Robinson. This Agadic midrash, a story midrash to help you understand something. Okay. All right. It explains this. If you wish, I will be an alien, but if not, I will be a resident. Okay? And take it by rights. For the Holy One, blessed is He, said to me, to your offspring I will give you this land. So according to this midrash, says, I will be an alien right now, but if you're not going to, but if not, let me see here. When we're talking about the land here, right? We're talking about the tomb, or not the tomb, but we're talking about Machpelah. So he says, I will be an alien and purchase. But if not, I will be a resident and take it, because this land was given to me by HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
But that doesn't seem to fit with the situation where he's trying to purchase the land, because he's basically saying he's going to give him the land. But then if he's going to give him the land, and he says, if you're not going to let me purchase it, I will take it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just feel like there's just, I don't know, that confuses me.
Well, and so especially in our day and age, it seems confusing, right? And this is a midrash stating this is a midrash, right? Do we take this absolutely verbatim like it's a story that tried to give us
Saying it belonged to Abraham
It-
because God gave it to him.
right, and that Abraham is going to say, "Hey, I'm being nice, and I will be here as an alien and purchase this land from you. But if you won't,
Anyway,
this is mine anyway."
But it was his for another reason as well.
It was his for another reason as well. Do explain, Slade.
Well, remember the war of the 5 kings against the 4 kings?
Yes.
Who ultimately won that war?
Mm-hmm. Abraham.
Abraham. And what did he win?
Lot, right?
The land of Israel.
Yeah, won the land of Israel. Okay, so what Slade just said, and of course he's not mic'd, is that the war of the 5 kings, right? When Abraham went to rescue Lot, he conquered those kings with his 300 plus soldiers, and he won the land of Israel as a result. Right? It's an interesting look at it. Right? And still then this midrash still makes words make sense in the sense of take it by right. Like, I mean, look, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me this land, so it's mine. By the way, if you don't take that, I won this land fair and square, so it's mine. Or I will be an alien and I'll purchase it from you. What do you want me to do? Anyway, see, fun stuff. It's the Torah. All right. It's stuff to think about it because right off first blush, you're like, no. Then you're like, well, that's actually not wrong. Okay. Okay. A holding for a grave. Still in verse 4. A land holding for a cemetery. In other words, he wants to buy this land for a cemetery. Makes sense. Verse 6, and I'll read 5 and 6 in this translation. It may sound different. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying to him, Hear us, my Lord, you are a prince of God in our midst. In the choicest of our burial places, bury your dead, and any of us will not withhold his burial place from you, from burying your dead. Now, Rashi doesn't say anything, but what are they saying here?
We'll let you use.
We'll let you use any grave of ours. Right? So this is the children of Heth that's speaking. They're saying, look, Abraham, you're a good guy. We know God's with you. Yeah, we get it. We will give you any grave site of ours that we have in Canaan. Anything you want. It's yours. We'll give it to you.
We'll let you use it.
That's
That'd be
the
different.
key. We'll let you.
We'll let you use it. Right. Which is not necessarily deeded.
Right.
Right? It's just like, hey, look, if you want to use one of our lands or borrow it, if you will, which understand back in the day, what was especially, I don't know back then how it was, but it's like Jewish burials and, today and even in Yeshua's time frame, they would use ossuaries, but even if you look at the tombs in Avatami, YouTube channel has some videos on this from Dr. Aydat, who's an historian in Israel, who's gone to older Jewish burial sites, if you will, to where he would explain to you how burial happens, right? So you have for lack of a better term, a not a tunnel, but a grave dug out in the dirt, in the land, right? Because it was underneath, right? And it would fit and can fit a human body. And like a bigger grave, well, not bigger, but like a family grave would have like 6 or 7 areas to bury people in. They never stayed there forever. So they would be there for a year, right? And they would be there for a year, and then they would come in, take the bones, and put it into a bone pit.
I wonder if that's where we got the custom of the
And gathered.
unveiling. I wonder if that's where we got the custom of the unveiling.
Maybe. The custom of the unveiling, that could be. So when we're talking about the burials, the tombs themselves were reused because they would bury the bones, put them in a bones pit to be with the people, as Slade would say. And so a commonplace here. And so but I don't know if that was the case here, and is what they're talking about. But
It could be that the people of Hebron had inappropriate customs that Abraham would not have agreed with, or maybe like would have foreign god idols in their tombs, so that he doesn't want his
and that's a good point, right?
wife buried with him.
That's a good point. So were the people of Heth or Canaan, were they pagan?
Well, absolutely.
Right. And so we would assume that they were pagan. And was Abraham? And the answer would be no, he wasn't. And so being buried in a burial cemetery of pagan people, would he want that? And the answer would be no. And that's a good point to make. Okay.
But on that day, did he go and do a graveyard survey and see who all was suitable to him?
I don't know, understand what you're trying to say.
Did you go check and see which grave he wanted you?
Did he check?
Well, then you can have your
One's
pick.
in
Well,
the
did he
grave.
go look and go, I'll
Just
take
wanted a cake.
Tequila?
Oh,
Yes, it was very clear.
right.
Go look to see what.
But here was the deal. Was the cave of Machpelah a grave to begin with?
Yeah, we don't know that.
Right? I mean, as far as we know, it's just a cave according to Torah. Now, the sages would say it was a burial place for who?
Oh, Adam and Eve.
Adam and Hava. Right? And so that would, but, so did,
Yeah, Jenny and I have been there to that cave, and it's a cave.
it's a cave, yes.
It's a cave.
It's a big cave.
Yes, it is.
And some would say that it's 2 levels. As far as like back then. Right? 2 levels back then, 1 upper level and 1 lower level in Abraham's time. Okay.
Could you go in the cave?
No, oh, no.
They wouldn't let you do that.
No, the Arabs would
Well, and I would think the Kedusha there that Israel wouldn't allow you to do it
I
either.
wasn't observant back then, so even when we walked up the side of it, they handed me a kippah to even walk up onto the land up in there.
Yeah.
And, oh no, those people, they had that place guarded like
Really?
Fort Knox.
All right.
Was there a iron gate across the front of it, or?
Just iron gate.
See
but back
here.
then, You know,
Uh-huh.
Verse 6.
what's there to see?
Right.
It's just the location. You've been there. That's, you
Okay.
know,
And just to do a quick sidebar, because the Rebbitzin made a note, and I am going to do it now since I'm remembering. So Abraham came to eulogize Sarah. Where is his eulogy of her?
Isn't it in say like Beersheba?
We're talking about where in the Tanakh.
Oh,
Where in the Tanakh is the eulogy of Sarah? Thank you, Rebbitzin. Trivia question of the day. I know that answer. I actually know it. Woo! I listen. Anybody? Proverbs 31.
right.
Yeah. The virtuous woman. It was kind of written by Solomon, maybe. But Solomon was written because he knew it from he's been taught that.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyway, fun stuff. There is a Rebitson, please put the name of your Facebook page or website on the chat, please, so I can repeat it correctly. I'm going to make sure I get it. Yes, yeah, Chayei. Tamedot. Make sure we put that on. She's typing, I'm sure. Okay, moving on. Just so you know, Proverbs 31, eulogy of Abraham for Sarah. Good stuff. But did Shlomo write it in a book in Proverbs? Or yes, right? Okay, so moving on. See here, verse 6. Will not withhold. This means will not hold back. Like, and he's talking about the Hebrew word that's used, okay? Will not hold back, like in withhold not your mercy, or in the rain from heaven was restrained or withheld. All right. Verse 8. We skipped verse 7. Or Rashi did. He did not make a note, at least in this book, on verse 7. Right. Okay. Verse 8. Your will, literally, your soul. So if you look at verse 8, make sure I find it. And he spoke with them, saying, if you truly your will to bury. So let me see here. I'm going to look here. Neveshchem. Neveshchem. Nefesh would be, so your soul, basically. If it's your soul, this means, or your wish, okay. And intercede for me. So if you're looking at verse 8, if you truly, your will to bury my dead from before me, hear me and intercede for me with Ephron, son of Zohar. Okay, so intercede for me, when we're talking about in the Hebrew, the word here is used in the sense of requesting, like in don't beseech me or do not beseech me. Okay, verse 9. Let him, we're talking about Ephron in verse 9, let him grant me the cave of Machpelah, which is his, on the edge of his field. Let him grant it to me for full price in your midst as a holding for a grave. Okay. So, verse 9, the cave of Machpelah, literally meaning doubling. The word itself means doubling. Okay. The cave was called by this name because it consisted of a lower floor with an upper floor on top of it.
Even Ezra says a cave within a cave.
A cave within a cave by even Ezra. Okay. A cave within a cave, or a cave that has a, here Rashi says, so Ibn Ezra, a sage, back in, somebody you should look into, smart guy. Yeah.
You won't agree with him very often, but
It's like,
you'll disagree often.
you'll disagree often with a lot of what he says, but that's not the point. Okay. Yeah, it's a different point of view.
He's strictly
Right. He's strictly a,
literal, word for word.
yeah, he's a word guy in the Torah.
So some of what he comes up with, you go, no.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's reading it literally. Okay, so this cave was called by this name because it consisted of a lower floor and with an upper floor on top of it. Devar hair. Alternatively, in other words, take that 2-floor thing, set it aside. I know it seems like I say that often, but people say alternatively, and they still like to, and this is what I do, so I'm just saying what I do. I still bleed the last thing I just said into the alternatively one. I'm bleeding that over in my mind to the Devar hair part. and to the other thought. That's my mentality. And what I'm trying to say is what they're saying here when they say devar her, they want you to make a clean break. Take that other example and set it off to the side. This is a different example that has nothing to do, or potentially has nothing to do with the previous example. Am I right?
Right.
So that's me. I'm just letting you know that's what I do. And since in my head, I tell myself that, I'm telling you guys that and all that. All right. So it seems like I say that a lot, but I do because I'm saying it in my head. Not many people know what's going on in there. My wife does, and she's still sane, which just surprises me.
What is on the other side of that brain?
I don't know. All right. So, alternatively, because it was doubled with couples, right? Who were buried in there? Only couples were buried in there. Okay. For full price, as we continue, full here is used in a sense of complete price. Its entire value, if you will. Similarly, David said to Aravna for full price. In other words, he gave an example from somewhere else in the Tanakh. And just so we know that, 7. And it does not mean that he will pay with whole undefective coins as even Ezra understands it. In other words, I think Rashi's here is disagreeing with Ibn Ezra, which the sages can disagree and it still be okay. I'm just saying. Okay. Moving on. Verse 10. Now Ephron was sitting, right? Yeshev is spelled lacking a letter. It's actually spelled lacking a vav. This teaches us that on that day they appointed Ephron as an official over them. This is that they, who are they? Yeah, the ones that are at the council, at the judging, at the court, that right there, okay? In other words, that's where the judgments are held. Okay. They appointed Ephron as an official over them because of the importance of Abraham, who needed Ephron. Ephron ascended to greatness. What is he saying here? He's saying that as a result of what Ephron had, meaning the land, and Abraham being an important figure that is requesting this land of his, they're like, well, since you own the land, we're putting you ahead of the court to deal with this particular issue. That's what he's saying. Okay.
But the reasoning behind it, this land is Ephraim's inheritance.
Okay, it's Ephraim's inheritance, okay.
When you get your inheritance of the nature, why Abraham couldn't go straight to him in that council and say, hey, dude, I want to get your piece of property. It was an inheritance type of thing. And so he had to address the council in order for them to talk to him about whether he would sell some of his inheritance.
Okay, so where did you get that?
That's why it takes that roundabout.
Okay,
Just talk to
so help me, where's the idea of the inheritance at?
No, that's what Ramban,
Oh, the Rambam?
yeah,
Maimonides?
yeah,
That's what he says?
that's what
Okay.
he said.
Okay,
So
good.
it's like-
I just wanted to get an idea where you got that from because Rashi doesn't mention anything about it.
No, but again, he's only gonna give you some of.
Right, which,
We were talking about, like, if, you know,
See, if these guys,
his
I know
sons
already.
who inherited the land.
right. So we're talking.
Can't give you their
So we're
whole
talking about
thought
another
about
sage,
something.
Rambam, Maimonides, who is saying something in regards to this being an inheritance. And Rashi doesn't mention anything about it, which is fine. In other words, Rambam, and it's just fine. It's just we're bringing in another sage when we're talking about only Rashi. And that's fine. I just wanted to make sure that what you were saying about the inheritance. We're talking about this as being an inheritance of Ephron, and since it's this inherited land, he was the one that was put on top of the courts on this time to deal with Abraham because of the land. We're talking about a real estate deal.
Yeah.
With witnesses. Are a notary? Okay, all right.
Some people say it's a zoning issue.
A zoning issue. Huh.
That's why I needed the whole council.
Oh, that's good.
If you think about it, this was normal.
That's
This
good.
happened in Ruth too with Boaz.
That's good.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's the same same way.
Okay. All right. So the Chayei Talmidot is the website, and you can look it up on Facebook, just kind of getting that out there, just as I'm trying to remember, for an explanation or of the Proverbs 31 being a eulogy of Sarah from Avraham. That is is what is read Erev Shabbat, verses starting in verse 10, right? Just so we just thought to throw that out there. And let's see here. Rebbetzin, if you could spell out your website or Facebook page so I can say it, so I can get it right, because I can get the spelling off. All right, moving on. Okay, so the verse 10 still, next phrase, for all who come to the gate of his city, right? For they all stopped their work and came to accord kindness to Sarah. So the whole town came to this court, not trial, this acquisition, this land deal, if you will, for the witnesses. And they did it out of respect for Sarah and Abraham. So it wasn't just the courts that were there, and there were just like 4 or 5 people talking amongst themselves. The whole town was there. It was a big deal. Right? It's a big deal. Kind of like Slade Henson. He's the big deal.
Well, it was a big deal because they knew
Yeah.
that he defeated the 5 kings. That had to be in their oral history.
Right? Yes.
I mean,
Yes, they knew.
Abraham, they knew
Right? He's been a popular.
that God was on his side, and
Right.
they,
Can you look up
Well, that's the
her?
thing, when he showed up, he's got his whole entourage with him.
yes.
You know, everybody
Yeah.
go, what's going on? What's going on? Let's go see
Because
what's going on.
Abraham is a popular guy. He's not only wealthy, which he is, but he's known for being a hospitality. He's also known for actually good at war, because of what you said in regards to the campaign of the 5 kings. All right. Now, let's see here. Verse 11. When we're talking about verse 11, thank you. No, my Lord, heed me. So when it says here, no, my Lord, you shall, meaning you shall not buy it for money. In other words, the Ephron here responded to Abraham saying, you shall not buy this land for money. The idea of Machpelah. Right?
Jesse just said something that really resonated with me, and that was that he showed up with his men. If you show up somewhere with 350 men, 315 fighting men,
300 men,
and
yeah.
you say, I'd like to do something,
Right.
then they would say yes out of fear.
Well, saying yes out of fear, maybe
And
because...
so later, as soon as you and your men are gone, they're like, well, I did it because I felt threatened.
Right, yeah.
So that's why he wants to pay this land.
So
is
we're-
because he doesn't want an argument later.
Right. So just so you guys know what it was just said in here is that there was an opinion thrown out, which is not bad, is when he showed up with his men. So how many men did he show up with?
We don't
Did
know.
he? We don't know.
He
So in
didn't-
other words,
he
if
probably
we...
didn't travel alone.
Right, of course, yeah. I don't think he traveled alone. But let's just say what you were saying is that he showed up with his 300 men, the same 300 plus men that conquered the 5 kings.
And they knew about that.
And they knew about that. They would have to know about that. And then they were all standing around watching this case. Then the sons of, the men of Heth and Ephron could say that they felt like they were intimidated or coerced or nudged into this deal of giving. So,
The guys of Het did not only know about it, they were directly affected.
the sons of Het were also directly affected by the war of the 5 kings as a result of Abraham. So they may feel like they...
They sweat
Oh, yeah. Right, so is that a possibility that could be the case also, that there may have been a little bit of a intimidation factor with all these big men that conquered 5 kings, 5 kings?
They conquered 4.
They conquered 4,
4 came and conquered 5.
4 and conquered, oh yes,
Well,
4
yeah,
and
they
conquered
knew
5.
that God was on his side. They knew they couldn't, it had to be something divine. They couldn't have done it on their own.
Right, yes, and that's where the men of God,
Yeah.
the man of God comes into play. All right, just so, because we're getting to the end, I wanted to put this out, www.ashteykyil.com. Chayei, and that is the Rebbitzins' website. You also can look at that at Chayei Tamidot on Facebook. That will help you if you want to know more about the Proverbs 31 reference to being the eulogy for Sarah. And let me see here. All right, we'll just stop there. We'll stop there. All right. Didn't really get to 20, which I didn't think we would. There is always next year.
Want to pass that around? That's the inside wall.
Okay, let me end this. Yeah. All right. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Yeah. This is the inside wall.